Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, Text 34. Tulayamalavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya Martyanam Kimutashishaha. Tulayama, we compare. Lavena, with a moment. Api, even. Na, not. Swargam, attainment of the heavenly planets. Na, not. Apunah bhavam, merging into the Brahman effulgence. Bhagavat, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sangi, with associates. Sangasya, of association. Martyanam, of persons who are destined to die. Kim uta, how much less. Ashisha, benedictions. Translation and purport by Zavangres A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: even a moment's association with a pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets or even merging into the Brahman effulgence in complete liberation. For living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotees is the highest benediction. Please repeat. Even a moment's association with a pure devotee cannot be compared to being transferred to heavenly planets or even merging into the Brahman effulgence in complete liberation. For living entities who are destined to give up the body and die, association with pure devotees is the highest benediction. Purport. The great saint Prabodhananda Saraswati, a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, has stated, Kaivalyam narakayate tridashapura kasha pushpayate. For a pure devotee, Kaivalya, merging into the existence of Brahman, the Brahman effulgence, is no better than living in hell. Similarly, he considers promotion to heavenly planets, Tridashapur, just another kind of phantasmagoria. In other words, a pure devotee does not place much value in the destination of the karmis, the heavenly planets, or in the destination of the jnanis, merging into the Brahman effulgence. A pure devotee considers a moment's association with another pure devotee to be far superior to residing in a heavenly planet or merging in the Brahman effulgence. The topmost benediction for those who are living in this material world the topmost benediction for those who are living in this material world and are subjected to the repetition of birth and death, transmigration, is association with pure devotees. One should search out such pure devotees and remain with them. That will make one completely happy, even though living within the material world. This Krishna consciousness movement is started for that purpose. A person who is overly affected materially may take advantage of this movement and become intimately associated with it. In this way, the confused and frustrated inhabitants of this material world may find the highest happiness in association with devotees. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So it's a verse that is often quoted by Srila Prabhupada, a very important verse. Tulayam lavenapi nasvargam na punarbhavam bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kimutashisha. So in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Sangat sanjayate kama. So according to our sangha, we develop our kama. According to our association, we develop our desires. So if we associate with materialists, we will develop material desires. And if we associate with devotees, then we will develop spiritual desire, which is to serve Krishna. So in the material association, one may be associating with sports people, and within sports there are so many sports. Tennis, there is soccer, there is cricket, there is so many. So accordingly, if one associates with a certain club, cricket club or a tennis club or a soccer club, table tennis, whatever, so one will develop those skills, one will develop the desire to play for national competition, international competition, and become world number one, whatever. So one will develop such desires. Or if one goes into boxing, you may develop that desire. Or if one goes into political field, or somebody goes into philanthropic fields or business fields. And business, there are of course many types of businesses. So accordingly, how we associate, we develop our desires. That's why in the early years of one's life, one is sent to school. It used to be the Gurukul system, where one learns not only about how to earn a livelihood, but also, more importantly, how to live one's life to satisfy the Lord. Varnashram system used to be the standard of human civilization. Otherwise, actually, it is not human civilization. If there is no Varnashram system, it is just decorated animal civilization. So, but now, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, the school system is changed. And now we are taught material subjects and how to earn a material livelihood. Zero information about spirit soul, zero information about how to make our life successful and what success actually is. Nothing is taught in schools today. So we are associating from the very formative years of our life with a system that is making us materialists. And we are forced to think that way. Oh, if I don't get a job, my life is gone. Parents also push the children, oh, you should study hard so that you can get a good job, so that you can live comfortably, otherwise no money, no talk. So, they don't understand that actually whatever we are destined to get, we will get. Our real business in human life is to revive our Krishna consciousness. You may say, oh, yes, that is real business, but that is not urgent business. It is important business, but not urgent. Urgent now is today, tomorrow I won't have a meal. I need a meal, that is urgent. So I need to work. This is how we are trained to think. So of course, if one is stuck in work, that's another thing. Even then we should think of how to come out. We can come out. There is enough engineers, there are enough doctors, there are enough politicians, there are enough all these people in the world. What it is lacking is the sense of brahmanas. Anybody at any time can give up all other occupation and start a center somewhere. and you can register a society, start collecting funds and teach this science. Learn, first of all, of course, you must get trained and then start a temple and then start activities, Bhagavad Gita classes, whatever we know we can speak. We can do some kirtan, we can distribute prasadam, and there is a center. And likewise, one does not need to work anywhere else to fund that center. One can have fundraising, book distribution. So these are all practical things we can do. If we preach Krishna consciousness, there is no dearth of facilities. But just that we have to become strong enough, we have to become convinced enough that this is actually the way of life, this is what our life is meant for, otherwise it's a waste of life. It only needs conviction. Of course, in the beginning there is not enough conviction, and therefore we associate with devotees. So, if we associate with the right people, then we will get the right conviction. We will be convinced in any way. If I associate with atheists, I will be convinced that yes, there is no God. I will be convinced. But whether the conviction is in fact or conviction is in our own imagination, that's another thing. We will become convinced. For example, a cricket player, he will become convinced that yes, this is my goal of life. I need to become like Sachin Tendulkar. So that is, he is convinced, yes, I want to become like that, or I want to become, he is my role model. So, because he has associated with such people, he has developed sangat sanjayate kamaha. According to the desire, according to the association, we develop our desires. According to the desires, we get our body. Paying attention? According to our desires, we get our body. So how we get our desire? According to association. That's why it is said in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what it is said? Purushah prakristho hi bhungte prakritijan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. Karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. According to our association with the modes of material nature, Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamagun, we are developing next bodies. What is that? What is that? So according to our modes, association with the modes, we develop our next body. So when we say association with devotees or association with non-devotees, what are we actually associating with? What do we understand about association? When we are associating with somebody, what are we actually associating with? True. But why we inherit those things? What are we associating actually with? Here is the answer. What is that? What is that? When we are associating with someone or something, we are associating.
Material desires.
So, no, desires are. See, just now we have what we have explained. We are attentive. So, if we explain what we explained just now is that our desires are the result of association. Sangat sanjayate kama. According to whom we associate with, we develop our desires. If I associate with cricket coach, I will develop, I want to, First, of course, we won't go to a coach unless we have a desire to go and become a cricketer. But how we want to become a cricketer? Because we watched Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli or whatever, bowlers, whatever. So that is also association. So when we associate, then we develop desire. So what are we associating with when we are associating with someone? The answer is we are associating with the modes. A person is in a certain mode, whether in goodness, passion, or ignorance, or a combination, a percentage of these three. So when we are associating with that person, he is or his current material consciousness is a product of certain modes of material nature. It's a combination. So we are associating with those modes actually. So the more we associate with the mode of ignorance, or people in the mode of ignorance, or substances in the mode of ignorance, then we develop such desires. Like food. Food is also mode of ignorance, passion and goodness, right? Do you know? Sattvic food, Rajasic food, Tamasic food. And then there is prasadam, which is transcendental food. So if we eat prasadam, then it is very easy for us to remember Krishna and follow the rules of Hare Krishna movement, this Krishna consciousness movement. If we don't eat prasadam, then it is difficult. So this is explained in the 11th canto, 13th chapter, verse 1 through 5, I think 1 through 6 maybe. See here, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Sattvam Rajastama iti guna buddherna chatmanah Sattvenanyatamau hanyat Sattvam Sattvena chaivahi. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion and ignorance, pertain to material intelligence and not to the spirit soul. By development of material goodness, one can conquer the modes of passion and ignorance, and by cultivation of transcendental goodness, one may free oneself even from the material goodness. What is this cultivation of, or development of material goodness, or what is this? This is association with such mode. So now let's understand the next verse. Sattvad dharmo bhaved vriddhat pumso madbhakti lakshanah satvikopasaya sattvam tato dharmah pravartate. When the living entity becomes strongly situated in the mode of goodness, then religious principles characterized by devotional service to me become prominent. We want this, right? We want devotional principles to become prominent in our life. So we have to develop the mode of goodness. So we have to associate with those who are in the mode of goodness, or rather transcendental goodness. But first we must come to goodness, and then only we can go to transcendental goodness. Suppose if I want to go from Singapore to Delhi, I must go first of all to the airport. From there only I can go. So similarly, from the material world, if you want to go to spiritual world, in the material world we must go to first of all mode of goodness, which is the airport. From there we have to take the plane to take to the transcendental goodness, which is the Vaikuntha world. Without coming to mode of goodness, we cannot jump. That's just like from here we cannot jump to Delhi unless we are Hanuman or something. So one can strengthen the mode of goodness by cultivation of those things that are already situated in goodness, and thus religious principles arise. You see? So how to come to goodness? We have to associate. This is called Sangha. But we have to associate with the things that are already situated in goodness, and thus religious principles arise. So now, 11.13.3 Dharmo rajastamo hanyat sattva vriddhiranuttamah ashu nashyati tanmulo hyadharma ubhaye hate. Religious principles strengthened by the mode of goodness destroy the influence of passion and ignorance. When passion and ignorance are overcome, their original cause, irreligion, is quickly vanquished. So this is the process. This is what happens when we associate properly. And of course, the opposite happens when we associate improperly. Suppose, for example, we associate with passion and ignorance, then irreligion will be strengthened, and it will destroy the influence of mode of goodness, and thus irreligion arises. So why this Kali Yuga is in the mode of irreligion, so much irreligion? Because mode of passion and ignorance are prominent. And now it has escalated to war in Europe. Recently there was war with India and China. And war in the Middle East. So many wars are going on. This is all mode of passion and ignorance. Now next, this is important. 10 things. 10 things which can be mode of goodness, mode of passion, or mode of ignorance. What are they? Agamo, apaha, praja, desha, kala, karma, cha janma, cha dhyanam, mantra, atha samskara, dashaite gunahetavaha. 10. Dasha. So, what are they? Agama, religious scriptures. Or any books, let us take any books. There are religious scriptures in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. But also there are so many other books, right? All of them are in different modes. So according to the books people read, for example, their consciousness develops. If it is Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, transcendental goodness. Then if there are scriptures in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. And apart from this, there are other books which are promoting mostly passion and ignorance only. The library, bookstores, there are so many books. And apart from the books, there are also now social media. Which are books. What are books? Basically words. So words, whether in book format or a web page or whatever it is, they are words. And they influence our consciousness. So agama. Apaha, water. According to, like you see, we took Charanamrita. This water is different than some water which is, say for example, any liquid, say beer. That is also liquid. Apaha means water and any liquid actually. The basis of all liquids is water, ultimately. So, that is what? Accordingly, if I am in the mode of ignorance, I will take liquor. Mode of passion, there are other things. Not only water, food also comes into this. Whatever we consume comes into this. Because from water, the taste starts. Water and earth have taste. So when you say apaha, anything to do with the taste, tongue, rasana. So the water is the beginning of taste. Yes. Fire cannot be tasted, air cannot be tasted, sound cannot be tasted. So water and earth can be tasted, and earth can be smelled also. So why sometimes water has smell then? Because it is mixed with an element earth. So anyway, our tasting, so that means our eating process. What kind of food we eat. So that's why in the Bhagavad Gita there is description of the different types of faith in the 3 modes. Food in the 3 modes, worship in the 3 modes, activity in the 3 modes, scriptures in the 3 modes, religiousness in the 3 modes. Everything is mentioned there. So agamaha, apaha, praja, association with people in general or one's children. So what kind of family we are in? That also matters, because we are associating with our family members, right? And with our general people, what kind of people are we? What kind of people are we associating with? If we associate with devotees, we will develop such quality. Associate with goodness, passion and ignorance people, we will develop such and such qualities. Then desha, place. Place. Also is in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. For example, deserts. They are in the mode of ignorance. Those who are extremely sinful will be taken by such places. You imagine being in North Korea now. Desha means accordingly there will be rule, right? What kind of rule it is? What kind of situation it will be? How easy it is to practice religious principles. If you are in the temple, this is the place where religious principles are followed day in and day out. So desha, what kind of place? Like we said that forest is in the mode of goodness, city is in the mode of passion, and a brothel is in the mode of ignorance, where prostitutes are. That kind of place is in the mode of ignorance. But a temple is in pure goodness, transcendental goodness. So what kind of a desha we associate with? Place. What kind of places we go to? People go to tourist attraction somewhere, some passionate places where they can have sex, honeymoon, with this and that, so many. Some scenic place, maybe go mode of goodness, whatever. But pilgrimage is different. So traveling is also in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Everybody is taking same plane, same train, but where he is going, destination matters. Kalaha, time of the day, the Brahma Muhurta, morning, is a mode of goodness. In fact, Brahma Muhurta is a time for doing transcendental activities beyond even the mode of goodness. But as the day goes, there is Rajogun, there is Tamogun in the end of the day. So what kind of day? Like some people say, oh, I'm a morning person. I'm not a morning person, I'm a night person. I'm an afternoon person. Like this they say. Why? Because they are in different modes. They can change into morning person. They can change into, mode of goodness. But just not waking up morning also does not mean that he is in the mode of goodness. Like Prabhupada said, Calcutta train driver also is waking up 3 o'clock in the morning and starting his train. That doesn't mean he is in the mode of goodness. So, the main thing is what are we associating with? Kalaha, karma, activities, what kind of activities, what kind of work I do. That is also in the 3 modes or transcendental. Janma, birth. Now, this is also a product because Karanam Gunasamgasya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. According to our association with modes, we have developed a Janma. So actually, Janma is also a product of modes only. So I may be born in a low cultured family or whatever. But Diksha, the initiation is also birth, second birth, which will transform the person into mode of pure goodness, or which is the beginning at least of that process. So even if one does not have a very fortunate birth, but if he takes the real birth, which is initiation, then how that happens? Bhagavad Sangha Sangasya, with association of devotees. Ado Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sangha, Atha Bhajana Kriya. So this is initiation. So Janma, although it may be, I cannot change this Janma, but I can change with initiation. This is the Pancharatrika Vidhi. Dhyanam, meditation. What kind of meditation are we doing? Some people meditate on money. That is also meditation. What is the subject of meditation? That is what matters. Some people are meditating on the genitals only. Pornography. That is also meditation. Meditation in the mode of ignorance, passion. And if we meditate on Krishna, that is transcendental. If I meditate on going to heavenly planets, or if I meditate on making business, going to other country, nobody is not meditating. Everybody is meditating on something. So that is also association. You see how many ways we are associating subtly. So we have to change our meditation to meditation on Krishna. So we are not in the level of Dhruva Maharaj that we are, only thinking of Krishna and nothing else. So therefore the spiritual master gives a whole range of activities. Krishnarthe Akhila Cheshta. There are many activities in connection with Krishna. So as we are chanting, we can remember Krishna. As we are dressing the deities, we can remember Krishna. As we are cooking, we can remember Krishna. As we are distributing Krishna's books, we are forced to remember Krishna because we have to speak about Krishna. I am doing Krishna's business. Yes, I am a salesman. Some people they say, we were distributing books. One man said, hey, why are you making sales out of God? I said, sir, I make sales, but I don't keep the profit. It's all to God. And the sale looks like a sale, but it's for you, for your benefit, for your profit, not for mine. Of course, we also profit because we are forced to think of Krishna, but this is for your profit. Previously, there used to be Gurukul, where Guru used to give knowledge and then the Shishya, the disciple, will give some dakshina. Now you have no time, you are running, so you take this book, knowledge, and give dakshina and go. Then you read, once you read, and then then it settles in your brain, then you will understand the value of what we are doing here. So it looks like ordinary sales, but it is Krishna's business. Prasadam distribution. I am distributing Krishna's prasadam. Or temple, construct temple for Krishna. Everybody has a desire to have their own house. I want to have bungalow. Everybody has desire. I need to have my own house. So devotees also think the same way, but not for themselves, but for Krishna. so that that house will become a place where people can congregate and learn about Krishna. And Krishna's mercy can be spread to the population at large. Because people will be attracted by some opulence. Prabhupada said, I can sit under the tree and give speech like Shukadeva Goswami. Who will come to listen? There is no Parishad Maharaj there. People want to see something grand, then they will come. Under the tree, who is some guy who is sitting under the tree and talking something? So this opulence is what attracts people. Once they come to see, they will come for darshan, they will come for the beauty of the temple, but then they will be introduced to books, they will be introduced to class, they will be introduced to chanting, because Bhagavat Sangi Sangasya. So that is what is the real thing that we are offering, the association with devotees. Because that is what will change. There are many grand temples, many grand temples in India, collecting cobwebs. Spiders have occupied the temple, and rats, ants have occupied the temple. Humans are missing. They go to it for like a tourist attraction, to temples, all these grand temples. Because why? No association of devotees. If there is a devotee association, then it will become transformative. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, I rather sell all my marble of the temple and then print books with that money. Because some of his disciples were fighting. Oh, I want to stay this room, I want to stay that room, this is my room, this is your room, like that in the ashram. Just not at all advanced, third class, fighting for small thing. He was disgusted. What is this? What did I construct temple for? He said, if there is any emergency, I would rather sell the whole temple and then distribute books. Because the real point why this temple is being constructed is for getting the people to come to Krishna. That is the real thing. If you forget that, then it is a waste of time. So dhyanam, mantraha, chanting of mantras. What kind of mantras we chant? Hare Krishna mantra, transcendental goodness. Some people use F word, that is their mantra of life. More of ignorance. Dirty, foul language they use. That is their mantra. They are chanting. Of course, it is not mantra. The actual meaning of mantra means that will deliver your mind, not that will trap your mind. So whatever we are saying, our words also matter. What kind of words we say. So if you chant Hare Krishna mantra and anything related to these shlokas or any of these topics of Krishna, that is mode of transcendental goodness. Atha, samskara, rituals for purification. What are the rituals? People have different rituals. In fact, nowadays the word ritual has entered common language in English. Oh, this is my morning ritual. What is the morning ritual? Oh, I write diary, I think of gratitude. Gratitude to who? Gratitude for what? Gratitude means you are grateful to somebody. Who is that? There is no mention of God. Oh, just grateful that I am having a comfortable life or this and that, this and that. But grateful to who? Who gave you this? So, mindfulness practice, they call it mindfulness practice. What is mindfulness practice? This is my morning ritual. And then I jog. This is part of morning ritual. Why? Because this is all atheistic. So, rituals, samskara, rituals for purification. And even among religious rituals, there are karmakanda rituals. And then finally there is the ritual that we do. Mangalarti is a ritual. Guru Puja is a ritual. We do it without Tulsi Puja is a ritual. But these are rituals which we are participating, which are meant for our purification. And we have to do them also with understanding. We should not just become rituals without meaning. For example, why the songs like Prabhupada, he introduced Mangalarti song as Guru Vashtaka song. In Gaudiya Math, it is still the Vibhavari Shesha, Aloka Pravesha, that song. The night has come to an end and the day has started. This is the meaning of that day, of that song. We have to worship. It is time to worship Krishna. So that is the meaning of the song. But in our case, it is Guru Vashtaka. to remember the spiritual master. And all the 8 verses, there is meaning there, right? So why are we doing the Samsara Javanala song and Guru Puja song? Why? We should not do these things mindlessly. Just some words and we don't know what the meaning of the words are, just say, everybody is saying, I also say. No, we must, as we are saying, we should know, we should remind ourselves. Why are we chanting? Because it is to remind ourselves what is the glory, what is the position of spiritual master, and how we must, satisfy the spiritual master in order to please Krishna. So we have to know, it is not just a meaningless, it should not become a meaningless ritual. Why are you chanting Mangalarati song and all this? Prabhu, that is the system, no? Prabhupada's give. Okay, but why did you give? Because these samskara are there. And of course, real samskara is Diksha. Of course, marriage is also a samskara. Vivaha yajna, vivaha samskara. So many samskaras are there. Dashavidha samskara. 10 types of samskaras, purificatory processes. But initiation itself, the ceremony itself is not the end of the ceremony. You should understand. That is just the beginning of the real set of rituals that we need to follow, set of knowledge that we need to cultivate, set of services that we need to do. It's the beginning of the process. The whole process together is called the Bhaktilata Bija. Prabhupada explains in the purport of the Chaitanya Charitamrita there, 19th chapter, Madhyalila, 149th I think verse, or 51 maybe. So there it is explained that what is the Bhaktilata Bij, the seed of devotional service. The seed is the entire program that is given by the spiritual master. All facets of the program. That entirely constitutes the seed of the program. So Dasha Ete Guna Hetavaha. So these are all things in the different modes. So let's see the translation. According to the quality of religious scriptures, water, one's association with one's children or with the people in general, the particular place, the time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting of mantras and purificatory rituals, the modes of nature become differently prominent. So now there is a clue. Okay, how to associate with mode of goodness. These things. These 10 things. So, next. Tat satvikam evaisham yad yad vriddha prachakshate nindanditāmasam tad rajasam tad upekshitam. Among the 10 items I have just mentioned, the great sages who understand Vedic knowledge have praised and recommended those that are in the mode of goodness, criticized and rejected those in the mode of ignorance, and show indifference to those in the mode of passion. So this is how we have to associate with these modes, different modes. We have to associate with those in the mode of goodness, criticize the mode of ignorance. Why? Because it makes us forget Krishna. And because it is enveloping everyone. That's why they are forgetting Krishna. Therefore it has to be criticized. The fault of it, how it is acting to the detriment of our real interests. And then I think Satvikanyeva seveta puman sattva vivriddhaye tato dharmas tato jnanam yavat smritirapohanam. Until one revives one's direct knowledge of the spirit soul and drives away the illusory identification with the material body and mind caused by the 3 modes of nature, one must cultivate those things in the mode of goodness. By increasing the mode of goodness, one automatically can understand and practice religious principles. And by such practice, transcendental knowledge is awakened. So we have the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is an activity of, if done properly, it is an activity of transcendental goodness. But because we are in the mode still, so we have some regulative principles. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and certain habits which we need to cultivate, like rising early in the morning, Mangalarati, then there is eating only Krishna Prasad. These activities are there to safeguard. These are all actually on in the transcendental plane. And also we have to be in the mode of goodness. Because we are not now in the transcendental goodness, at least in the mode of goodness we have to hold on to. Unless we are in the airport and we have a ticket, we cannot go, right? In the plane. So, we have to be at least in the airport. And being in the airport is not enough. We have to have ticket. If no ticket, where you go? Cannot go. So even people who are in the mode of goodness, if they don't have the ticket, that means the contact with the devotee, pure devotee, they cannot go back. Even in the mode of goodness. So there are so many brahmanas like that. I mean, supposed to be in the mode of goodness at least, if he is a real brahmana. But still he is considered avaishnava. Shatkarma nipuno vipro, mantra tantra visharadaha. Avaishnava gururna syat. Vaishnava swapacho guru. He cannot be guru, he cannot be considered Vaishnava if he is not a devotee. Dvishad Viprad Dvishad Guna Yutad Aravindanabha Padaravinda Vimukha Swapacham Varishtham Manye Tadartha Manaso Vachane Hitartha Pranam Punati Sakulam Natubhurimana. Prahlad Maharaj is saying 7, 9, 10. Viprad Dvishad Guna Yutad Aravindanabha Padaravinda Vimukhat. That means Dvishad means Shad means 6. Shat. Dvishat means 2 times 6, 12. 12 qualities. Brahmana is supposed to have 12 qualities according to the Sanat Sujata. It's all stated here. So this is a person in the mode of goodness, practically. This is the verse. So there are 12 qualities. Jnanam cha satyam cha dama shrutam cha hyamatsariyam hristitikshana yajñascha danam cha dhritihi shamascha mahavrata dvadasha brahmanasya. So jnanam, satyam, dama, shrutam, amatsaryam, hrihi, titiksha, anasuya, yajñah, danam, and dhritihi and shama. So 12 qualities. Mahavrata dvadasha brahmanasya. If he has all these 12 qualities, but he is not a devotee. That is the meaning of this verse. If a brahmana has all 12 of the brahmanical qualifications, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a brahmana because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called brahmana in a position of false prestige cannot purify even himself. So, devotee association is of prime importance. So, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janme Teho Punah Mukhya Anga. The root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. Even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. Now, we have seen the 10 things, right? Which are in the different modes. Now, all those 10 things will be included when we associate with devotees. Let's revisit that. That is why the holy places are already with the devotee. Tirthi kurvanti tirthan. In fact, he makes lousy places into holy places. That is devotee. So, agama, apaha, praja, desha, kala, karma, janma, dhyanam, mantra, samskara, all these dasha things, these 10 things, you see, scriptures, water, association, place, time, activities, birth, meditation, chanting and purificatory rituals. Now, if we just associate with devotees, wherever they are, even in the worst place on the earth or in the hell also, but because of their association, they will discuss what? Pastimes of the Lord, which is the religious scripture, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, by associating with the devotee, we will get all these 10 automatically in the mode of transcendental goodness. Water, they will give Charanamrita, they will give Prasadam. Then, of course, their own association is there. And then the particular place, wherever they are, is a place of pilgrimage, right? Yatra gayanti madbhakta tatra tisthami narada. Narayana has said, wherever my devotees are glorifying me, I stay there. And wherever Krishna stays, that is a place of pilgrimage. Narottam Das Thakur therefore said, what is that? Tirthayatra parishram keval maner bhram. Tirthayatra parishram keval maner bhram. The effort taken to go to holy places is just a mental satisfaction only. The real thing is the association of devotees. It is a mistake to go to holy places if it is nothing connected to devotional service. But when we associate with devotees, automatically tirthi kurvanta tirthani swanta sthena gadabhrata. Advaita Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. Where is this? In Jagannath Puri? From Navadvip. Oh, yes. So Prabhu was saying, for those who are online, those who did not hear, so Prabhu was saying that Advaita Prabhu, so at one point Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was wanting to go to Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri, and he was led by Nityananda Prabhu to Navadvip, Shantipur, Bengal direction. So when he came there, when he saw Advaita Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, where am I? I'm supposed to go to Vrindavan. Where did I end up? So Advaita Prabhu said, wherever you are, there is Vrindavan. So that is the sign, that is the quality of devotee. Prabhupada went to America and he made it into Vrindavan. He brought Vrindavan everywhere he went. Seemingly he left Vrindavan, but actually he made many places into Vrindavan. So the particular place becomes holy place. Then the time also becomes auspicious. Because Ayur Harati Vaipumsam Udyanastan Chayanasau Tasyarthe Kshanonita Uttama Shloka Vartaya. By discussing topics of Krishna, everything becomes, the time becomes, eternal. Everything becomes a good time. In fact, Shukracharya says, see, mantratas tantratas chhidram desha kalarha vastutah sarvam karoti nischhidram anusankirtanam tava. There may be discrepancies in pronouncing the mantras, observing religious principles, and moreover there may be discrepancies in regard to time, place, person and paraphernalia. You see, just the paraphernalia we have talked about in the 11th canto, 13th chapter, 4th verse. There may be discrepancies in all these things, but when your Lordship's holy name is chanted, everything becomes faultless. And in the devotees association, all these anusankirtanam, not only sankirtan means chanting the holy name and discussing of the topics of Krishna. So when these things are there, the time becomes auspicious, the place becomes auspicious, the ritual becomes auspicious. When the opening of Vrindavan temple, he was doing yajna and he asked because he invited the local priests in Vrindavan to do the yajna, and he asked the devotees to chant on them simultaneously, do kirtan. And after the whole ceremony was finished, Prabhupada said this kirtan is actually the real inauguration ceremony, not this yajna, fire sacrifice. Fire sacrifice is to just, appease the local people so that they will think that, this is bona fide temple. But the real inauguration is a kirtan. Because there are so many discrepancies in performing all these sacrifices. The kirtan is the real thing. But who will do kirtan? Devotees. In association of devotees, all these will automatically happen. Chanting of mantras, purificatory rituals. So all these, So just by association with devotees, we will have the complete package of transcendental goodness, pure goodness. All things that are in the mode of pure goodness, we will automatically associate with, if we just associate with devotees. That's why tulayam lavenapi. Even a moment's association with devotee is more than any heavenly planets or anything else. You just imagine how you started Krishna consciousness. Just look back. I remember I was just what I was doing. I was studying in some college, having big material dreams. And this devotee, he just came by and he spoke to me for about maybe 10 minutes max, 5 to 10 minutes. And I bought a book. Now you see how the life changed just for a few minutes. Of course, that doesn't mean because of that one interaction now we are there. Of course, there is interactions after that. Of course, here is where we were really trained. There we never went to I never went to the temple actually. I just bought the book and I read the book and came here, and then here is where thing happened. But starting point, you see, just that little starting has snowballed into all this. Everyone, I mean, we can all relate to this because somewhere some devotee gave us some prasadam or some book or something they told us. It all starts, I mean, with the books. So, likewise, so that one thing, and if that one meeting is so auspicious, how we every day we associate with devotees, how many things we will learn, how many things we will, correct ourselves, how many things we will advance. Tulayama lavenapi na swargam na punarbhavam. Of course, there are many verses in regards to this. Yesterday also Prabhu's class, he explained these things in depth. Just a couple of verses we'll look at before we close. So there is this verse 11 to 29. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priyadarshanam. For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Then there is the next verse. Of course, this 11, 20, 17 is also there. There's so many, I mean, there are unlimited verses on association of devotees. Ata atyantikam kshemam prichhamo bhavato naghaha samsaresmin kshanardhopi satsangah shevathir nirnam. Kshanardhopi, half a moment. Therefore, O completely sinless ones, I ask you to kindly tell me what the supreme good is. After all, even half a moment's association with the pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man. Aho mahatman bahudosha dushtopyekena bhatyesha bhavo gunena satsangamakhyena sukhavahena kritadyano yena krishama muksha. O great learned devotee, although there are many faults in this material world, there is one good opportunity, the association with devotees. Such association brings about great happiness. Due to this good quality, such our strong desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Brahman effulgence has become weakened. So, especially in this Kali Yuga, Kalir dosha nidhe rajan hi asti hi eka mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha paramraje. So, Kali Yuga full of faults. All agama, mantra, tantra, all this desha, kala, everything is gone. Kali Yuga. Hopeless. So, how to make it auspicious? In association with devotees, everything becomes auspicious. And we will be actually treading the path of going back to Godhead. That is real auspiciousness. Going to heavenly planets, this is not auspicious. So we have to come out of association of devotees means what happens? Just not to be in the proximity of devotees. Proximity of devotees is not really association. I can be near a devotee, but if I don't take advantage of such association to advance in spiritual life by pranipata, pariprashna and seva, then it is useless. There are many devotees who just stay in association of devotees, but they do nothing. They don't interact with devotees, they don't have nothing to do with devotees. That is not association. So association means fully, wholeheartedly we must associate with the devotees and offer our service like that. Then only, otherwise you see this is what happens. The real thing is, as Prabhupada explained elaborately yesterday, association of devotees means Krishna Katha, Shravanam Kirtan. Prabhupada also says that in the purport of the 19th 149, 151 somewhere. Association means to associate with Shravan Kirtan process. Prabhupada said. We'll go to 1899, just after this one. जे लीला अमृता विने खाए जदि अन्न पाने तबे भक्तेर दुर्बल जीवन जार एक बिंदु पाने उत्फुल्लित तनु मने हासे गाय करय नर्तन. Men become strong and stout by eating sufficient grains. But the devotee who simply eats ordinary grains but does not taste the transcendental pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna gradually becomes weak and falls down from the transcendental position. However, if one drinks but a drop of nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his body and mind begin to bloom and he begins to laugh, sing and dance. Purport. All the devotees connected with the Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. So, this is an example of this 1899 is an example of proximity with spiritual master, but no advantage of association. At that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya placed a request at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, please give me permission to go to Krishna directly. So somebody was thinking, some fisherman in the ocean, in the boat with a light, in the night he was fishing. And people thought that is Kaliya. That light is the Kaliya Nag jewel on his head. So, Krishna has come dancing with Kaliya. They took the boatman as Krishna and the boat and the light as a Kaliya. And say, Krishna is doing Kaliya Daha Leela. So Bhattacharya, Balabhadra Bhattacharya was with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. People in the village were saying like that, ordinary people. And these Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please give me permission so that I will go and see Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu slapped him nicely. See, the purport. The puzzled people who visited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were actually seeing Lord Krishna, but they were mistaken in thinking that Lord Krishna had come to Kaliya lake. They all said that they had seen Krishna directly performing his pastimes on the hoods of the serpent Kaliya and that the jewels on Kaliya's hoods were blazing brilliantly. Because they were speculating with their imperfect knowledge, they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an ordinary human being and a boatman's light in the lake as Krishna. They took God as an ordinary man and took ordinary man as God. One must see things as they are through the mercy of a spiritual master. Otherwise, if one tries to see Krishna directly, he may mistake an ordinary man for Krishna or Krishna for an ordinary man. Everyone has to see Krishna according to the verdict of Vedic literatures presented by the self-realized spiritual master. A sincere person is able to see Krishna through the transparent via medium of Sri Gurudev, the spiritual master. Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, this is important, unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot say things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master. This is proximity. Proximity does not equal association. This incident at Kaliya Daha is very instructive for those eager to advance in Krishna consciousness. So what is real association? When we do these kind of things, Tabe tare koho Prabhu chapad mariya. Chapad means what? Slap. Chapad mariya. Murkhen vakya murkha hoilo pandit hoya. He said. When Balabhadra Bhattacharya asked to see Krishna at Kaliya Daha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully slapped him. Mercifully slap means, like this. No. Merciful means one tight slap. Then he will wake up. He will forget all his Illusion. That is mercifully slapping, not just touching with fingers like this. You are a learned scholar, but you have become a fool, being influenced by the statements of other fools. This is real association. The devotees will correct. Without association of devotees, we will be fooled by those villagers. So in Hinduism now, every human is becoming God. Some Baba will come, put his hand like this, and he becomes God. And his photo is there in every altar. Just because he put his hand like this, he became God now. That hand, we must show him hand and then tightly slap him. That is what we should do. But we don't have knowledge, so we accept this hand. We need to be slapped with this hand. So this is real association. So I think I'll stop here. Any questions or comments or anything to add? Some questions are there here. Vanajakshi Rajeshwari Mataji is asking, how to keep ourselves in the mode of goodness or Shuddha Sattva always? Why do our mood keep shifting among these three gunas? Yeah, there is always competition between the three modes, as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजः सत्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्वं रजस्तथा. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way there is always competition for supremacy. So the modes are fighting. The modes are, they are trying to defeat the other. Sometimes that's why we have mood swings, sometimes we are inspired, sometimes not inspired. Why? Because these modes are acting and we are associating with those modes. So how to keep ourselves steady then? Well, become Krishna conscious. If we associate with Krishna, then we are not associating with the modes. You see? Harerhi nirguna sakshat. What is that? Ishvara prakrite parah. हरिर्हि निर्गुणः साक्षात् पुरुषः प्रकृतेः परः स सर्वदृक् उपद्रष्टा तं भजन् निर्गुणो भवेत्. Lord Hari, however, has no connection with the material modes. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the all-seeing eternal witness, who is transcendental to material nature. One who worships him becomes similarly free from the material modes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also quoted this other verse, which is 111:38. एतदीशनम् ईशस्य प्रकृतिस्थोऽपि तद्गुणैः न युज्यते सदात्मस्थैर्यथा बुद्धिस्तदाश्रया. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. So we have to just become Krishna conscious. Yes, in the beginning it's tough. This is actually the substance. So Prabhu has said 7:15:25. So this is the solution. So in the beginning it is tough. We are always doing this roller coaster ride. So how to fix ourselves? This is the answer. Rajastamascha satvena sattvam chopashamena cha etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho hyanjasa jayet. One must conquer the modes of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness. And then one must become detached from the mode of goodness and by promoting oneself to the platform of Shuddha Sattva. All this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way one can conquer the influence of the modes of nature. So, shortcut. It's not shortcut actually, that is the only way one can actually transcend. There is no long cut, there is only one way. Shortcut means there are many ways, this is the only way. What? Spiritual master. By serving the spiritual master, everything is automatically done. It's like we are putting food in the mouth. Automatically it is digested, everything is going on. The nutrients are distributed to the body and everything is going on automatically. We are not really like concentrating, oh, now I am digesting the rice I have eaten, now I am digesting the curd. Nothing. We are just putting and then it's automatically happening, right? Without our attention. So we don't need to like, oh, this is mode of goodness, oh, mode of passion is coming, of course we have to be introspective, not to associate with the modes of passion and ignorance. But if we follow the instruction of spiritual master, doing all the things that he has asked us to do, automatically without our attention, this will happen. Automatically. We will be above the modes of ignorance, passion and all these things, come to goodness and transcend. So, we just have to become more and more fixed up in that service. That's all. That is the only solution. Prabhupada always, whether there are any problems, people come to him with, he asks, are you chanting 16 rounds every day? Are you eating Krishna Prasadam? Are you waking up for Mangalarti? Are you reading my books? These are the questions he will first ask, because there the problem is. Other problems are coming because of this problem. If that is set right, everything, why it is said that devotees can stay in hell also. That means it doesn't matter if it is hell. If the devotee is pakka in his sadhana, he can live in hell also, no problem. Because we complain, oh, this is hell for me, oh, this is problem, that is problem. But the hell is in our mind. That is the hell. So, anyone, other questions? Okay, thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, ताई गौर प्रेमानंद।